Hello, guys, and welcome to Cats Video Production. This is Lynn Su Live, and it's 3:05 Eastern Time. We're all here. We all want to know the news about what's going on in Republican wars and what's going on in the election, which is here in Florida, the local election, which is more important for us who live in Florida, who raise the children here, who have work here, who just, living here. This is the main thing. Hi, Lynn, how are you today? Just happy to see you. What's going on? I know just about 2 days, or maybe even just a short period of time to the very main events in the election in your life and this campaign. So this is coming up. It's very soon. Tell us what this is the very hot period for you.
Oh yeah, it definitely is a very busy time. Thank you, Nick, again for having me on your show. Really means a lot for me to be able to reach out and see and have people get to know me for who I am. So, campaigning is very exciting. It's a very different type of work. It's fun and it's very busy. So right now, I'm making a lot of phone calls and trying to knock on as many doors as possible. But I know that our district has a lot of condo dwellers, so it's very hard to get into those condos. So I might not be seeing every single person, but I really hope to.
So, and this is the main question about the volunteers. I know the volunteers, they're always, it's just like additional hands. So, what's going on with that? How many people registered on the site for to be volunteers? And do you need more volunteers, for example? And tell us how people can register. Just simple go to the website and click, and voila. Would they have to have some confirmation, some what's the process, what's the step-by-step process in that?
Well, thank you for asking that. We do have a lot of volunteers, but of course, everybody has a day job, and sometimes they have family obligations, so not everybody is all available at the same time. So any amount of hours that you can donate, like whether it be like one or two a day or one or two a week, like let me know. I think the best way to sign up for volunteering is to text me directly. And my phone number that you can text me at or call me at is 786-671 5852. You can text me there and let me know that you're interested in volunteering, and
Could you
we have
repeat it
various.
one more time just for the people who can need more
Okay,
time to. Mhm.
sure. It's 786-671 5852. You can also find that number on my website as well. So for sure, it's already listed on there. So if you go to linsu.com, you can also find that, and that's the phone number that you can text me to let me know that you would like to volunteer.
Okay, we have it on the screen. Just check it if everything is the digits is works. So
Perfect.
okay, let us know what the primaries is coming up. How it looks like for you. You're gonna go to some special place. How it's looks like. What you have to be prepared. How what the event is. Who is gonna be with you? Who is gonna be against of you? And so I know at least two more Republicans running for that elections. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Okay, so in this race for the Republican to be the Republican nominee for the state representative, there are two other candidates. There's a Fabian Basave and there's a Douglas Ross. I'm the third name on the list, and I'm Lynn Su. So as far as what there is to know about them, I don't know a whole lot about them. I've met them both. I think that they're great people. I mean, we're conservatives, so basically that's pretty much sums it up. Um, as far as how conservative, I think that I would encourage your voters to actually look into who's where. I think that I am a conservative as a constitutional conservative. That means I believe in all of our Bill of Rights. I believe in all of our amendments. I think that those should be set in stone, and that we should really, really, really protect that, because that's very precious. I was just speaking to a voter today. I've been making phone calls to ask them for their vote and to talk to them about what it is that's concerning them. And a lot of people are feeling like, first, like the lady was from Cuba, and she said to me, first they take away your food, then they take away your guns, and then we have nothing left and we can't fight back. So she had left Cuba since, I think she said 13 years ago. And she says, what is scaring me right now is the direction that this country is going. And she said that if it's happening again, she doesn't want it to happen to her new home. She had moved here. She loves America. But if America turns into a socialist or a communist country, she will definitely leave as well. Now I'm thinking there are not many countries that we can go to if America does fail inside of our, republic. If our republic fails, then, there's not many other countries that will defend the freedoms that we do in the way that we do it. Right. So I think your listeners, and you being from Russia, Nick, you probably agree with that.
Of course, yes, because we all escape from that, and we can see perfectly what's going on right now. The event of the Monday, the week before, with the Trump situation in Mar-a-Lago, the show was perfectly what's going on in the United States, and that obligations to the espionage, the case. It was, pretty much showing how Biden regime use the FBI and DOJ like tools to political pressure for opponents, to Republican opponents. So what do you, as a personal opinion about middle election in that situation? Because it's against not only Trump, but against all people who Trump endorsed already for the midterm election. How do you think the situation is going to be growing up in that case?
Well, it was unfortunate what happened to our former president. I think that for people who don't like President Trump, I can imagine that they're very excited about that raid, right? Or whatever you want to call it, the warranted, search. So I could see that. But the truth is, when you have government on your side, then you don't have to worry about it. But when you don't have government on your side, and when do you know when the government is not going to be on your side if you don't have rights? So that's one thing to really look at. I don't care where you're standing inside of what you feel about, Donald J. Trump. I just think that to have that happen to any citizen of America is ludicrous. It's crazy. It cannot happen. So with that said, your question was with the endorsements that President Trump had given,
because it's
right?
very interesting, because if the espionage is gonna be there, and so many Republicans is gonna be afraid itself and start to be a little bit, have a distance between Donald Trump, just in case, because everybody is afraid. They see there is no check and balances anymore.
Oh yeah, there's no check and balances. There's no rights. It's really crazy. I think that whatever had happened to President Trump and the way that they did it, the shenanigans that they pulled with the FBI and the Attorney General there, I think it actually works in our favor. I think a lot of people who were unhappy with President Trump were also, not happy about what had happened to him. And like I said, it's only great when you're on the same side as the government. The minute that you divert off of the track, then you never know if it's going to happen to you. So that's another thing. But basically, I think it's working in Donald Trump's favor, which is good for a change, right? I mean, I think he's had a lot of bashing in the past couple of years, ever since he lost the election, and it's good that there's an upside to it. I don't imagine any of those secrets that he has or any nuclear codes that he's going to sell to Saudi Arabia.
So the funny thing here that he's already give the old documents to them back on January. So they copied everything and then back to him, to the Donald Trump, the old documents. And so the main question is, so if you need to classify that documents and we need the time, just classify that all and then return it to Donald Trump, for example, right? And also nobody knows. I think that Donald Trump also don't know that what in the April, back to the April, they have already jury to decide which the documents was classified, which is not. And this situation is freak me out because this is the left, the radical left, and Democrats. They do very scary things. The very scary things. It smells fishy. It's not like it's un-American at all.
It's absolutely un-American. I mean, like, what happened to our Fourth Amendment? All of a sudden, like, there's no probable cause. It's just out of nowhere. And it's just because they want to find something, right? Like, and they're comparing them to, the mafia back in, the 60s and 70s there, where it's like they want to get him off for tax evasion or want to get him for something else, that is, they're just trying to find something. Basically, like, I see it as a desperate move to try to get something in to see how they can actually, stop him from running for president in the next election cycle. And there's like so many, they just can't find anything. It's, and this has made his popularity even stronger. So good for him.
Yes, but the Donald Trump, he has, just the good lawyers, he has the money, and he can, he got a lot of the persecution around him, but still, he has power. What about the regular Americans and the IRS,
Exactly.
the new bill, the federal bill, who is increased from 71,000 to 158,000, the IRS staff, and also they arm them. And also, I assume that whole new federal army is going to be against American Republicans who just talking about who has citizenships, politicians' personal view, who criticize Democrats and radical left. So they promise there's gonna be 1.2 million the new investigations against regular Americans, and the same rates, the same how it calls, whatever it calls, variety or something, but it's gonna be in American. And Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, he told, "I'm gonna protect Floridians." What do you think he gonna do? Because it's a federal structure, it's a federal department, it's a federal army. What choice we got? What Ron DeSantis is gonna do with that situation? What do you think?
Well, I mean, in that aspect, I think he already has a plan. I am not like entirely clear how he's going to do it. There's probably several avenues that he can look into. I am not going to speculate on that at the moment, but what I'm thinking of is absolutely just when you speak with your representatives who are voting, right? And when you're speaking to your senators who are voting, like, make sure that that if they're saying there's going to be more tax revenue coming in and they're hiring like tens of thousands of IRS agents to audit, there are not enough millionaires for them to have enough work to do. Right? So we're definitely, it's going to come down below people who earn $400,000 a year. So it's unreal. And you can watch them lie on the news and say words out of their mouth that is completely untrue. Everything that they said first, like, for example, right? We had the Inflation Act, or what was it called again? I forgot. It's another.
It's just
again. We're saying that it was going to alleviate inflation.
I don't know how it really works. because it's gonna increase inflation. I mean,
Any
there is.
spending does, right? So I mean, like when they say that, oh yeah, this is gonna take away the pressures of inflation, it's another lie. There's more and more lies that are coming out of our politicians as if it was like it was the real thing, and we just listen to certain sound bites and agree with it and let it go, right? Don't let it go. Like look at what's going on. How was it passed? It was completely down party line, right? When they were passing this inflation bill. So it's
Just a few months
one lie
ago,
after
Joe
the next.
Biden
We're not
stated.
going to come for you. We're going to.
Yeah, right. I just tried to say. Then just a few months ago, Joe Biden told us there is no inflation at all, and it's a very short term period. There is nothing to worry about. So I just read this. I love read the old news, because that sometimes it's discovered a lot of information, yeah, and you perfectly see the person is lying. The line every day, and it's just a few months. There is not just a long period of time. Uh, it's happened. So there is some persons who perfectly showed themselves in these days. Yesterday in New Hampshire, Mike Pence, he told, okay, if somebody call me to the community J6, I'm going to be attend with pleasure, with my pleasure, because this is my unique role when I've been like a vice president at that period, and I can testify on that situation. Can you imagine this? Mike Pence, he was like a right hand of the president, 45th president Donald Trump, and he was with him all this period, all this presidential time, and now after the short vacation, he is on the political area again. Some critics say before that Mike Pence is going to be like a politician's Walking Dead. For him, not just political future, but radical left and Democrats put him back. Put him back to take out some, voters in the elections. If, for example, Donald Trump running for the presidentials in 2024, and also Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney also stated in a couple months she's gonna be, like a stated for everyone. She's running for the presidential. Just for the same reason, to take out some votes from Donald Trump. Uh, could you just share your opinion in this case? Because it's very interesting.
Okay, so let's go back to Mike Pence first, right? Like I said, I don't know what he's going to testify about. The truth is, like that, the certification of the electorals was actually just like according to the way that things have been operating, it is actually just a formality. Like there was nothing anybody could do. Like once the electorals and the states have already put in their votes there, it's done. It's just a formality to say, okay, we accept it, and that's that. Like there's literally, I mean, even if we protest till we're blue in the face, like there's nothing that could be done already. So with that said, I don't think former Vice President Mike Pence is a divisive or is a bad person. I know that like he wasn't as outspoken as President Donald Trump was, but I think that he operated within the scope of whatever it is that he was responsible for. So just so that some of maybe your viewers might have thought like he could have actually like rejected it, but there could be discussions, right? And if there's not enough of it, then there's not enough people who are calling that, then it won't happen. So like I said, it's a formality. Like it was a formality on various different other elections, quite the same way. It just so happens that like I think President Trump had a really good diehard, group of fans that really followed him and really supported him, and they really wanted to see that election overturned. But we really, on the fact of the matter is, like we can't do that. So so back to Liz Cheney running
Liz
for
Cheney,
president.
yeah. She's
What a
lost.
joke
She's
that was.
lost, by the way, Wyoming, and this is the good example. What she's choose the wrong decision one time in her life.
Well, I mean, so the last election kind of spoke for itself, right? We've got 74 million people who voted for Donald J. Trump. And of course, there were 80 million people who voted for Joe Biden, right? And my point is, like, Liz Cheney is not going to gain all the Democrat votes, and she's not going to have that 74 million either, because all the 74 million people who voted for him is going to probably vote for him again, most likely. And a lot of people who didn't vote for him, who still thought he was a good president, had their reasoning, right? But their vote for, Rhino Cheney there. So
Yes, but what she can do, she can, took the part of these voters to her, and another part can be falsified or something like that. Or even Mike Pence gonna run, he took some part of the voters to him, and the all people who just Republicans, they're gonna be divided for 2 or 3 pieces, and this can affect it what the result is gonna be for the Donald Trump if he gonna run, or even it's another Republican going to be running for the presidential election. So do you understand that, right? So just divide it
yeah, I know what
for
you're
the
saying
parts.
about dividing the votes, but like I said again, like I think that with 74 million people who voted for President Trump, right? There's a substantial amount. And in the straw polls that were done at CPAC, it also showed that he was also way, way, way as a front runner. I mean, even though I would love to support Governor DeSantis to run for president, I mean, his numbers were not even as good as President Trump's was. So, I mean, with that said, like, I think it's going to be a tough choice because Donald Trump and Liz Cheney are on opposite sides of the pole, like opposite sides of the spectrum, right? I mean, we'd have to find different types of conservatives that would vote for her, in order for her to win the primary election, to be the Republican nominee.
Do you personally think that you got pretty much the same situation because you're running for your personal campaign for your election, and you got as well Republicans who is running with you? That looks like pretty much the same. They can took the part of the voters from you.
Definitely. I mean, and also, well, the good thing is, like, all three of us are pretty new, right? We are. I mean, well, one of my opponents actually ran for Miami Beach City Commission before, so he has had a little bit more experience inside of running for office. He has he has more name recognition because he had ran for office before. Another gentleman and I both, we have not been in office or had ran for anything prior to this. So we're basically starting off at the same level. Now, the advantage that I have is, I've been collecting petitions and I have been out campaigning for a year now. That means that, like, I've been reaching out to people in the district and people in the area. Although, like, that hasn't, people forget easily. So even after a year of doing certain things in the area, like Aventura, Sunny Isles, and whatnot, only like very passionate voters will actually remember me. So if they're in passing, they're not paying attention to the election, or they don't really care about politics, it just slips by and they forget about it. So that's will that be taking out votes? I'm pretty sure it will be, and it's just going to be the way that it is, which is we're just going to keep doing our best. Everybody's doing their best to win votes and win voters, and make sure that, like, we can flip the seat. So as you know, like, this district has been Democrat for 22 years. It hasn't been, very fruitful for us, because when you have a majority Republican House, it's very hard to get Democrats to pass anything. So that's one thing. So having a Republican in the seat might actually turn things around and might be able to support the district better.
So the people from Russia, Elena Kasatkina, wish you, respect and wish you good luck with your election. But the people from Russia cannot
Thank you.
vote.
I can see the good luck part. I didn't understand the rest.
Just respectfully from Russia. Yes. So this fact, Joe Biden called to Liz Cheney after she lost Wyoming, and that was some, pretty warm conversation between them. What is your comments on this situation? Do you think that's normal when the third person in the Republican Party just go against Donald Trump, do something, against for the whole Republican, because it's destroy and divided Republican on the MAGA and Republicans or something, and it's showing that all Republican the same, because what the all left radical try to do, just showing if you supported Donald Trump, you are very bad, and Republicans, they're all very bad, because the all Democrats and all radical left want for the people who lives in the United States only good thing, only just the share the money. There's only one thing, because Democrats and radical left cannot reach the goal. It's not enough money. Because if you give us enough money, then everything is going to be great. But the Republican always, stuck to our put something to our wheels. They cannot do to everything to us. So explain it, please, how it works. Why, if Liz Cheney has so warm relationship with President Joe Biden, why she is Republican but not Democrat?
I know, right? It's like, well, how can I put this nicely?
Use any kind of words. We have disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Okay. Well, all right. So I think that, first of all, I want to go back into something like, it's about what people are trying to do right now. First of all, like there's a zoom in and a zoom out. You know what I mean? When you're taking a picture. And if you zoom in, you'll see like, oh, Liz Cheney is, having a great relationship with Joe Biden, that, he called to console her about her losing the Wyoming election, the primary. Yeah, that's great. It's great that, she has a good working relationship with the Democrats. The problem with when you zoom out a little bit more, then you see like Liz Cheney has no principles, right? Like her principle is like, she doesn't like Donald Trump. Now, anything that will take down Donald Trump will be a good thing. It doesn't matter how stupid it is or how stupid it sounds. Like right now, if there's a January 6th commission having a meeting about how they can get Donald Trump, off by calling him an insurrectionist and having him not qualify to run for president again, okay, that's your passion. Like, all right. Don't forget, you're spending our tax money. Instead of these elected officials doing their job, making sure that we, the people, are doing okay in this inflation and during the energy crisis, during all of these issues that we're dealing with, and they're not focusing on that, and they're focusing on January 6th. Like, now zoom out again, right? Like when you look at a bigger picture, it's what are they trying to do? They're basically trying to divide the country. They're dividing the country between people who don't like Trump and people who like Trump. And by dividing that, it actually causes a wedge
one common thing in a human society to Donald Trump, because everybody knows him. So it's like in the music, Michael Jackson, for example, everybody knows him. Madonna, everybody knows him. You can love him or hate him, does not matter. You know him. That all election was about Donald Trump. You like him or you don't like him. So that was not about Joe Biden or something else.
Right.
But now the situation is turning off.
No, what I
Because the
see,
people to vote against of the Democrats because it's horrible. Even Liz Cheney. I just remind you, this is the statistic. 6 years ago, income of Liz Cheney was 7 millions. Now it's 36 millions, and her salary is as a senator is 177,000 only. Can you just imagine that? So she's so happy in that situation. She's completely happy. There is the theory. This is a theory. The one question was asked to Republicans. 6% thinking that Mike Pence has to go to the presidential election. You know that it's horrible, and also there is the theory. The Republicans prefer to be like a Democrats right now in the minority because it's so easy for them. They does not need Donald Trump, who's leader, who's always win. They need to be quiet. They need to be in that position. They can just, okay, we are not majority, we're minority. So that all happens. That all not because of us, because we have not enough power. This situation is very kind of relaxable for the most people who sit in the Congress or the Senate. What do you think?
Well, I mean, even when we had a Republican majority, they did nothing anyway. So, I mean, it's whether they have power or no power, they're not doing anything. I don't know why, right? I think that, whatever declassified or classified documents, like nobody ever raided to search Hillary Clinton's house, right, for all the emails that she put bleach bit in. Like I said to you, like I was going to finish earlier about what I was about to say, was basically what is happening right now is they're trying to divide Americans, and they're using a common enemy or using a puppet for a show that is being used. So Donald Trump is being used to wedge Democrats and Republicans, or in short, Americans, up, right? Like, okay, great. There's a big group of people who hate him, and there's a big group of people who absolutely love him. So let's get them to fight about it. There are family members that don't have dinner or Thanksgiving with each other anymore because of Donald Trump. But it's not because of Donald Trump. It's because of what the media is perpetuating. Everything is canceled. The other day, I was talking to somebody, and he's from Colombia. And when he was speaking English to me, he says, "Do you want me to speak English with a Colombian accent? I can do it." And it's kind of a joke, It's like it's a joke. Like he was gonna make an accent or speak with an accent from his home country.
I have no idea why people do that. So many of them now in the Hollywood movies. When you're watching the movies, you can see that imitations of accents, and even you can see the movie started in Spanish, for example, or some another language for the so long time, and you see it in like an alien, and where I'm here. What I'm doing here? I
Well,
came
my
to
point
watch
to
the
say is,
movie.
my point is to you that I was going to say was that like it's not okay to have fun, to joke around anymore, because it is like culturally insensitive, right? Like if you wanted to identify yourself as a woman and I don't address Nick as a she, then Nick will get really mad at me, and I will get canceled for being insensitive towards what Nick wants, But Nick, you identify as a he or a she? And that's a joke. Okay. No, but what I'm saying is like all this cancel culture.
In the real world, I think the situation is what we have to focus on the children's, because in Florida, for example, here's the culture war around the schools.
Yeah.
Not only Governor DeSantis, he's making the steps to traditional patriotic studies in American schools without any critical race theory, which is banned on Florida about a year, right? Or maybe a few months.
No, a few months.
A few months, yes. So in the state where the race theory using in the schools, They have a liberal, like a Project 1619. They try to count our American history from the first slave came to United States soil. So, plus in contents in racism and like a society minority, the the thinking what all Americans do all day, they just raise the economy and everything on a slave work. So DeSantis, he wants reform not only schools and some the lessons, but the teacher staff as well. He suggested to hire some former police officers, firemen, some people who have more experience in how to explain the child what the patriotism is. What do you think in this case? Because we understand there is a war, and after that, the war, because Democrats and everybody and the politicians, they try to use their propaganda for children's. They try to be controlled children's brain, children's how to try to raise the politician fundament on their brain. Not only children, but in a university as well. But assuming there is not adult person anyway, and they just easily can be taking that propaganda as itself thinking. I don't know. This is very important topic. Let's talk about that Project 1619.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I mean, you know Russia very well, so you know how propaganda works, right?
It is, yes.
It's very easy for people to think that they have been acted on, meaning they are the victim. Like, we'd love to not take responsibility for our own actions and have it be that it's because of the Constitution, it's because of America, it's because of the teachers, it's because of white people, it's because of whatever it is that you can blame without taking responsibility yourself. It's the easiest way, right? People love that. Like, you know, you're late. Why are you late, right? You're late because, not because you left the house late, but because there was an accident on the freeway. You're late because, you know, somebody, you know, there was something happening, they were holding up, there was a train, there was a bridge opening, whatever it is, right? We love to blame other things versus ourselves, and we don't take responsibility for it. So by propaganda just fits into the normal human behavior, right? We love to be able to blame something else that is not our fault. So, you know, when they put in this kind of propaganda where it's CRT, oh gosh, yeah, because, you know, we're living here and it's all their fault, you know, it's all the white people's fault. I mean, like, it doesn't work when we are not teaching American history, right? American history was kind of taken out of the curriculum at some point, like during the Obama years, and we stuff, and this is not right. So first of all, we need to know about our country, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the awesome, everything. It doesn't matter what it is. People make mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes. If we don't learn from those mistakes and we don't learn what's good and what's right, then how will we know where to go forward and how to build on it? So with that also, there's when they're talking about 1619, right? They're talking about slaves arriving here in America, in the continental North and South America. Did they take a look at who was the first slave seller? Well, the one who sold slaves to the Spaniards and sold slaves that came over to America. Those people were actually Black people as well, right? So it doesn't work to just pick and choose your history and start where you want to start it. It doesn't work that way. The reason why we start our country in 1776 is because we declared our independence and we fought and won the Revolutionary War and then declared our country at that time. So that's why it started then. It didn't start because slaves or no slaves, right? And we didn't end slaves until in the 1800s. So, you know, we don't start counting it at that point. but we want to celebrate Juneteenth. I agree with that, right? Like that was a time when, we finally freed the last slave, and that's definitely something to look into. But with that said, America's made of I think we're made of people from all over the world, and people all come here
Exactly.
because
And why
of
do
freedom.
we need the racism here? Because the government created race by themselves. We have to stop it. Because talking about okay, you have a privilege on some government job or another type of job, or you have a privilege to get to university because your skin darker. We created another supreme nation here. So this period of time, I mean, on the past and the history, it was the black people. Now it's people with the more, like a the different type of skin. The next
Like the
period,
Latin.
it is gonna be people with the blue eyes, and next with the red hair. What we're gonna do? We always created some supernature to have to be, just to do something, privileged to them. Why do we still need that racist in our life? And because it's very, thing which is government and political used for that personal interest, and there's only one explanation on that situation.
Mhm. No, I mean, I agree. I think we should stop talking about who's from where and what. And if we're embracing Americans, we should just embrace Americans, right? The best way to eliminate racism and discrimination is to not talk about it. The minute you talk about it, there's now it's at the point where we're at reverse racism, right? Now it's like, Nick, you're the bad guy because you're white and you're a man.
Especially, yes, especially children who came from school and they crying because they have white skin, and everybody told
Yeah.
what you are have to be, just feeling bad only because of that. That's a stupid, because even all scientists told us we have the all pretty much the same, just only less than 1% difference in
Yes.
our bodies. They're all humans pretty much the same. So,
Yep.
and this is very very bullshit. When we have to thinking about the race, racism. We still have to thinking about how many black people have to be working on that exactly company, and how many Asian people, and how many white people, and how many women, and how many men. But instead of how many professionals have to work on that, the HR thinking about how many percentage of the people work itself. I mean, it's just a biologically, it's bullshit.
Yeah,
Tell me
we're
what's in
moving we're moving
Florida.
away from merit, right? Like we're not being judged on our abilities anymore. We're being judged by what's on the outside, which is insane, right? Just because I'm Asian doesn't mean that I know kung fu.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Or
Just for the
even
record.
doesn't mean Mandarin, for example.
Yeah, or I'm good at math, I mean, this is the issue. Like we turn these jokes into reality, and it's just insane. Like we have to start looking at each other for merits and who that person is and their character and their integrity, versus like looking at them because they have a certain last name or they are a certain skin color, or like, this is what I love about America. I remember when my dad was teaching me as a kid, and he was like saying that, like, what he loves about America is that, like, you never know that you would be talking to somebody who is actually like a billionaire, because they're sitting there eating food just like you. They send their kids to work as waiters just like you. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that people do here, and it's not about all of that. But like, slowly, and not slowly, but pretty fast now, right? Things are moving in a different direction. They're moving in the direction of, like, if that person is of a certain privilege class of some kind. And it's really weird because America is where everybody is equal. And
Tell
I
me
think
what.
it should remain that way.
Right. Tell me what's the situation in Florida in that case, about that company or maybe university who has some, agreements to take some the black people, white people, Asian people, hiring at work. Is it still like everywhere, like in the democratic states? Did you heard
No, I
about
don't
that
think so.
situation?
Well, I mean, I haven't experienced, let's put it, my personal experience is that I haven't experienced anything like that. I haven't seen that I have not been able to get certain, anything because of my, my Asian background, right? Or I haven't seen anybody who is of a different, in a protected class that has gotten more than me. I think that on the most part, Florida is pretty good on that. And I think it's because, we're also full of immigrants everywhere, right? I mean, the Cubans were the first to come here, like, back like decades ago. And then then we have people from all over, including Russians, come here a lot too. We have a lot of Israeli Jews, and it seems like everything is pretty good. We just have to really be on alert for any discrimination that happens, like in terms of like hate crime. That's something that we really don't want to have present in Florida, and it hasn't been prominent. There may be some cases, but I think our police officers are very aware of these things, and that's very good. What was that comment in Russian?
Okay, Elena Kasatkina asks you, do you have enough power to win? Do you have enough power to change the situation? How do you feel that?
Well, it's like eating an
And what is
elephant, right?
going on in the United States? She's asking, what is going on? Why? So she's
Well, you
also
know
worried about,
what?
yeah, so
Okay.
also worry about the Democrats who can organize the judge for that against Donald Trump, and they can do this. She's worried about that, and also she's asking about Liz Cheney. Why we're still talking about her? If she is trying to do something else, yes, she tried to go to the presidential
Yeah, to
election,
go to the
and took part
presidential
of
election.
the, yes. That's why we're talking about her in this context. Of course, she is like a political, walking dead right now, but still. Hmm. Okay, let's try. Let's
No, so
answer.
I want to share something first when she said what's going on with America right now. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay? What happened was Americans fell asleep at the wheel. Like we stop voting, we stop caring, we go into the polls and we look at the names and we think, oh, where have I heard that name before? And then you bubble it without realizing what that person stands for.
Yes.
That's vital. In this election, August 23rd, right, is the deadline. It starts at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the election day. Important are the judges. You see like what happens you see what happened like in California, what happened in New York, where the judges actually go in, you be a meth dealer or you're a drug dealer of some kind, you get a slap on the wrist, you get released back into, or you get charged with a misdemeanor, right? Versus a felony. But you had killed so many people from the drugs that you dealt. Like that is not a misdemeanor. So the judges who you select for your judges is also very important, right? My job is to see like what can we do so that like sentences are not, we don't have mandatory minimum sentencing. What can we do to help our economy move forward? So, and economy for me right now is very important. I think on the most part, Florida is kind of on track. We get push for a little harder for our school choices so that kids money will follow the child, and that we have a savings account for kids that's tax free possibly, and if the government can give vouchers for our kids to go to school so that you can actually take your kid to any school. So basically like that's what we're going to do, and it's like eating an elephant. It's one bite at a time, right? We got to take one bite at a time, and it requires you guys, right? I can't go make a difference if I don't get the votes. If you guys think, oh, Lynn is so good, and then you come election day, you're, watching TV or you get back late from work and then you couldn't go vote. Like that doesn't work either. I mean, I could have all the support in the world, but if I'm not in the seat come January, I can't help you make a decision. I can't vote on things. I can't put in legislation. Like, this is really about you guys. Like, what is going to happen in our future. We have to wake up, grab the steering wheel, and like really concentrate where you're driving and how you're getting there, because it's so important. Let me tell you something. Voting is a privilege. It really is a privilege. I mean, like, we've talked about countries from everywhere, right? Like Belarus. We've talked about, I don't know, Ukraine. I mean, there's several other countries that elections really mean nothing. Like, it's always a landslide for the dictator. I wonder why, right? When everybody wants to vote him out, he'll never get out. Like, today, you have that power still. Exercise it like nobody's business, right? See it as a privilege. It's like, I was talking to another voter today, and she said to me, voting day is better for her than Christmas. And she said she is a worker of God. Like, she does God's work. She takes care of God's people, right? She's a social worker, but she's a Republican. And she said, like, voting day is like Christmas. It's better than Christmas, because like, that is when she has full power in what she's going to decide and do. So I encourage you to exercise your full power. I mean, if you have already registered, you're going to vote or not. I mean, like, there's no question about not voting anymore. Like, we have come so far already, right? It's time for us to like really get up and show them we the people matter. We the people are going to set this straight. Nobody's coming. Like, your mama ain't coming. If you don't go vote, like, nobody's coming. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's coming for America. You think Britain's going to be able to, like, if we turn into a communist country, they're going to do something about it? They're having problems of their own. So, right now, like, we have nobody coming for us. Maybe China will, but they're not coming for the reason that we want them to.
China,
so basically, yeah, I mean, like, really, guys, our freedom is in your hands. It's not me alone. I can't do this by myself. We all need to get together. And this is why I appreciate Nick and then, the Two Cats production, because this is a way for us to have our hour together, to be together and to brainstorm, talk, and see what there is to do. And then the rest, it's teamwork, right? We want this to work. We have to work as a team. People who can vote. People who can volunteer. People who can run for office, run. Like anything. Like, it's a team. Nobody's more important than anybody else. We're all important. We're all in this together. And I mean, like, we're not going to let this. I mean, I'm not going to die, seeing this country go into socialism. Definitely not. Right? Either that or I'll die before.
Because we have to fight, of course. Yes.
Yes.
We have to fight. So Elena Kasatkina, she's texting us. I can't vote, but I will pray for you. Definitely, I will pray for you. But please protect children; they are innocent.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, and we got to let kids be kids. I mean, like, without all of this outside influence of all kinds. Let them be kids. It's already hard. Life is already hard enough that we don't have to make their life harder when they're like 3 years old trying to decide what gender they're going to be. Let them decide when their time has come. And, it's so important to protect our next generation. We're talking about mental illness, but what we put our kids through is going to definitely lead them down to the mental illness road. We're not raising them to be happy, to be optimistic, to be excited about life. We're raising them to be confused. There are people who have, like, I'm just about transgender alone, right? There are people who are transitioning and want to transition back, and it's not possible. Like, we can't make those decisions for them. We can make them happy. We can empower them. We can teach them good things. We can teach them bad things so that they know what's bad and what's good. And that's what we can do. And then the rest of it, it's our job to defend freedom, right? Ronald Reagan said that. It has to be fought for, and every generation has their own fight. This is our generation's fight, and we got to take it on.
And we just thinking you win anyway. I just wish you good luck on the August 23rd, right, on the primaries.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell something to our people who live in Aventura and who live in the Sunny Isles. Maybe just one more time, tell them how to apply to be a volunteer, and so what's the process is, and also any other thing maybe you can just go in to do in this very short period, and you want them to attend and help you with your campaign.
Okay, great. Thank you for the opportunity. So we literally have 5 days left. 5 intense days, right? That means that I want to reach as many voters as I can. That means that I'm going to be knocking and making phone calls. I need your help. If you live in an area that you know that you can reach out to your neighbors, or you can join the campaign and reach out with me, that would be really great. Reach out to me at my cell phone number. It's 786-671-5852. Okay. Let me know how many hours, what days you're available. We have 5 days left. You can pick in those days, like what hours are they? And then I can allocate you, or, pair you up with somebody. You can go there with them or go there with me, whichever one is available. And then we will go together to reach out to voters and let them know that I'm running, let them know what I stand for, let them know that I'm standing for we the people. I am not an elitist. I am a regular person who's tired and fed up of being fed up. Okay? Like, you were hearing all these things in the news, and let's do something about it. So volunteering entails like phone calls, knocking on doors with me. And then on the day of election, we are going to be at several precincts. Okay, we're going to be at about 10 precincts. I need 2 or 3 people at each place. So if you're available on Tuesday, if your boss will give you a day off on election day, yay! That means he respects your vote. Well, I'm saying that, business models, but basically, if you can take time off and be there on the election day at the precincts, so that we can meet and greet all the voters that are coming on the last day to exercise their right, we could do that too. So there are 3 different opportunities, okay? And however many hours you can dedicate is fine. We just need to put you in a schedule and then need you to follow that schedule, and then we will see you there. And I am looking forward to being the nominee for the Republican Party, and I'm looking forward to flipping this seat red. But I need your help, okay? Nick, you're on mute.
And we wish you good luck, and we're gonna keep in touch and just see what's going on in a few days. This is very hard period for you, I know that, but we're waiting for the great news and the great updates, and so we're all together. We can change the situation around us. That's for sure.
Together, absolutely. Together. I sound like Kamala Harris. Anyway, yes, together. Together we can do this. Together.
Together, yeah. Together, we can change the together world, our together world together.
Okay, thank you so much, Nick, for your time.
This is good. It means we are a healthy person. We are normal. So just vote for Lynn, and everything is gonna be back to normal.
Yes, you guys. It's like 57. Okay, my number on the ballot is 57. 57. And I hope that I could have your vote for the primary election. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next week.
Yes.
With the great news.
Of course. Thank you. Take
Bye,
care.
Lynn. Thanks.
Okay, bye.